The Suzuki FA50 scooter, passionately nicknamed Suzy and also known as the FA50 Shuttle, is a 49cc two-stroke single-cylinder scooter that was produced from 1980 to 1991 in Japan. It was a quality yet economic scooter that had a rated top speed of 28 miles per hour. It came in 3 colors, red, yellow, or blue. In 1980, the scooter was $200, which is equivalent to about $780 today. The scooter weighs in at a dry weight of 101 pounds and uses a 6-volt 2-amp battery. Suzy holds a whopping 0.66 gallons of gas and promises around 80 to 100 miles per gallon. The scooter rides very smooth thanks to the telescopic front suspension and oil-dampened swinging monoshock arm in the rear. This scooter is simple and air-cooled with a reed valve intake system promising 2.4 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 2.7 foot-pounds of torque at 3,500 RPM. The scooter also includes a name-brand Mikuni carburetor and uses kick to start rather than pedals, making this technically a moped. The add-on luggage rack is a good size, but only has a max weight capacity of 11 pounds. The bike has drum brakes in the front and the rear. It also has matching tires at 2.25 by 14 on 14-inch wire spoke rims. The scooter has a 2-stroke oil tank so that it actually automatically meters the oil to gas ratio, eliminating the need for premixed fuel. A great feature of this scooter is the driveline is enclosed, and that means that the centrifugal clutch is a wet clutch bathed in oil, helping you have less overall maintenance. So now that we have gone over all the tech specs of the Suzuki FA50, it's time to take it for a ride. And ride the scooter we shall. So we're on the 1980 Suzuki or Suzy FA50, and man, this thing is just awesome. It's so much fun to ride. And I think one of my favorite parts about it is just how quiet it is. You know, I've had a couple of smaller CC dirt bikes growing up. One of my first dirt bikes was a Suzuki DS80. I loved that little bike. It was a 2-stroke as well. And stock exhaust, but still pretty surprisingly loud. And what I'm loving about this scooter is, it's obviously a CVT transmission with a centrifugal clutch and, just single speed, but it's quiet. I mean, like the stock muffler, silencer, whatever you want to call it, is just so quiet. Now, the scooter does have that top proposed speed of 28 miles an hour. I don't think mine hits that. I'm going to take it on a straightaway here, but just in the few times I've ridden it, I feel like I've seen closer to maybe 21 being the top speed. I think the speedometer is pretty functional. It seems to work pretty good. My odometer works, which is really sick. And this thing has 1,905 original miles on it, without ever being built to my knowledge. I don't know why it would have been, so that's pretty awesome. But here's a straightaway, let's hit it. Yeah, I didn't even really have enough room to get past 20. See, it's funny, the acceleration on it, it's not slow. I'm not gonna call it fast by any means, but getting from 0 to about, I'd say 10 miles an hour, it's pretty quick actually. From 10 to 15, not too bad. But then that final 15 to 20, it definitely feels like it takes, a good second. Yeah, this thing's definitely screaming once you do hit 20 though, I'll say that much. Now, another thing that's kind of it's a good thing and a bad thing is, premix is nice because you just meter out your fuel. It's the same fuel to oil ratio throughout the whole entire, throttle band. So if you're running 50 to 1, 40 to 1, or even 100 to 1, it's gonna stay that the whole entire time that you're using the engine. Now, obviously this has a separate tank for gas and oil. And so how that works is it basically meters the oil as you give it throttle. So when you're at idle, you should have a very, very small amount of oil going into that engine, not much at all. Now, when you're wide open throttle, WOT, you should have the most amount of oil possible going into your engine. Now, when I say the most oil possible, I don't mean drowning it. I just mean, whatever the ratio that it should have, which if I had to guess at wide open throttle, maybe 40 to 1, maybe 50 to 1. But then at idle, it should probably be closer to 100 to 1 or maybe even higher, which will help with, keeping your cylinders clean, your piston, help with excess oil consumption and all that. So with my scooter, I think that I need to figure out what's going on with the mechanical pump, because I think mine's kind of dumping oil. It's not as bad as it could be. I was reading the forums and some people were having their scooter like literally pouring oil in, where they said like their exhaust was black, like everything was, you know, just putting out smoke. Mine doesn't really smoke much at idle. It's really just when I get on the gas, when I'm in higher RPMs, it definitely leaves a little smoke cloud behind me. So I would definitely like to get that fixed because, well, let's be honest, it's a small goofy scooter. It already looks funny enough riding it. I don't need to also have a giant cloud of smoke behind me to embarrass me more. But what's cool about this scooter is, even though, you know, the proposed top speed of 28, in many places it is street legal. It does have rear view mirrors on both sides, side view mirrors. It does have a turn signal. It actually has a high beam and a low beam. And on top of that, it has a brake light and a headlight. Now the headlight's always on. I don't believe there's an on-off switch, so high, low here. You can change that back and forth. Honestly, doesn't really make a big difference. And I will say, with this thing only having a 6 volt, like 2 amp battery, give or take, you don't get much light. Like, you really have to be on the throttle to get a whole lot of light out of it. So basically all of your electronics kind of fully depend on how much gas you're giving it. But obviously in terms of maintenance, pretty low. I mean, it's an air-cooled engine, so there's no radiator, there's no liquid cooling or anything going through it. And on top of that, the whole drive line is submerged in gear oil, essentially. So a lot of people have different opinions on what to use. Some people say 1030, some people say chainsaw lube. Basically though, you just want your centrifugal clutch to be lubricated along with a couple other things in the drive line. That's what all that metal is towards the back, because the engine itself is pretty darn small. I mean, 49cc engines are tiny. So you just have a little bit of cooling with the fins for the air, and then you know, a whole lot of surface area with the centrifugal clutch enclosure. But yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that this scooter back in 1980 costed about 200 bucks, which back then, you know, was not too far off from about $800. And funny enough, that is what I paid for it in this modern day. In 2025, I picked up this scooter from the NSRA swap meet, and I got it for 800 bucks cash. Now, I don't think I got like a good deal by any means. I don't think I got a bad deal. I think I just got like kind of a lukewarm deal, because from what I've seen, like, I'm seeing people sell these scooters on Marketplace for anywhere from 500 to 1,000. I will say though, 500 gets you a scooter that's been like repainted, doesn't run and drive well, missing parts. This one literally has everything, and everything on it works pretty much perfectly. It's pretty low mileage as well. And you know, 800 bucks. Well, I saw people selling for 1,000, you know, examples that looked a little closer to this one. So I don't feel too bad about paying 800 for it. I plan on keeping it for a long time. I love that it has the basket and everything. I love that it has the turn signals in the front and back still. Like, I got everything on this bike, and it's gonna be fun. I'm excited to maybe do some small modding to it over the years. I think the main thing will just be maybe getting a little bit more speed out of it. Nothing crazy, just maybe, I'd like to get closer to that proposed 28 miles an hour. So I'll definitely be doing a carb clean soon. I wanna figure out the oil injection situation to burn a little less oil and make it, you know, probably run a little smoother along with that. And then, other than that, this thing's gonna be going to car shows with me in the back of my Datsun pickup truck. That's really the big fun plan for it. I wanna take this thing to Cars and Coffee, and I wanna put it in the back of my Datsun pickup truck strapped down. I think it'll look so good back there. And one more time, I gotta try to do that 0 to 28 again. I keep trying to reach for a rear brake on my foot like a motorcycle. Oh, and speaking of brakes, it has a front and a rear. They're both drum brakes. They're both pretty darn bad. I don't think it's like they're necessarily normally bad. I just think mine just really need a good tune-up. All right, full throttle. Here we go. Oh, okay. All right, that time we got some more beans out of it. I think that time we might have, I wasn't paying attention too much, but I think I might have hit 22, 23. So maybe this thing can hit 28 on a good, like, long straightaway. It just sucks unless I take it on the open road. I might not find a straightaway that long. Oh, you know, one last thing I haven't talked about a whole lot is the suspension. The suspension is so good on this moped. Like, it's a mixture, like the seat being pretty soft, but also just the suspension. I mean, it's like impressively good. Yeah, that's fun. That's really fun. Yeah, the suspension is just so solid on this moped. Like, And when I say solid, I mean soft. Like, it dampens so well that when you're going over bumps and stuff, you barely feel them. It's such a smooth ride. I would say that it's probably one of the smoothest things I've ridden. It is definitely smoother than any of the electronic bikes I've ridden, and it's definitely smoother than either of the motorcycles I've owned. Well guys, there it is, the 1980 Suzuki FA50. I had a lot of fun riding this just for this video, and I'm definitely gonna have a lot of fun in the future owning and getting to show this to other people. So if you guys like this video, make sure you check out PCBros.tech for gaming and office PCs, and also check out our main YouTube channel, Toasty Bros, like the logo there. See you guys later, peace out.